people do have problems like early on, because if there's a little bit of air bubble in there and they hit those cobbles, you're gone. You have no brakes.
Really?
Yep. I think that's what happened. They didn't talk about that, but he won with no front brake. He says nothing was scary hitting Ironburg
I'm telling
Forest.
you, brakes just slow you down, man. They're no good. They're no use.
He hit
all they do.
Ironburg Forest with a rear brake. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's terrible.
He said he was. He was scared.
I mean, the only thing I can relate that to is racing Richmond for nationals, like 2014 or something like that. And there was this one downhill section that was like, they rerouted it. Maybe I've told you guys this story. They rerouted it because it was not quite cobbles, but it was like super thick pavers. And you'd hit it at 45 miles an hour because you'd come around this corner and then it'd be going down and there would just be bottles ejecting left and right.
Oh,
and
God.
then you'd have like a quick 30 seconds to check your, not even that, God, 10 seconds to like do a couple quick bounces to see if I still have air pressure before you take a hard 90 at 35 miles an hour.
Holy shit.
It was a bloodbath. Mm-hmm. So they rerouted
You're smiling.
it.
You're smiling.
Yeah.
It was a bloodbath. Why do we do this to ourselves?
I don't know.
This is really fucking stupid.
I wonder it's not a popular sport.
Yeah, right? Think all the golfers who are just like hammered and just riding carts around and just having a wonderful time.
And John Daly. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
I know who John Daly is. Yeah. Have you seen the meme out there where it's like Tiger Woods, who's still ripped,
Yeah.
and John Daly across from each other, and there's always just like, you know, my bike from the 1970s
Yeah.
versus my bike now kind of a thing. They're good. They're good. I like them. Hey, everybody. Before we begin, let's thank the fine folks at Scratch Labs. You know how important proper fueling is, right? Well, Scratch has you covered, from drink mixes, full energy fueling, and brilliant bars and gummies to the best choice for feed zone recipes out there. You can't go wrong with Scratch. Click the link at Packfiller. Hey, everybody. How about Gooder sunglasses, people? You know the discount code still works. I think it does. I think it does. We had 1,000 codes. And I think I don't know if they're any good anymore. Give it a shot. See what happens. Packfiller 15, available to get a great discount on the best value and non-slip, polarized, style-enhanced shades for your riding pleasure and safety. Get to Gooder.com today. Ow, if I could only figure out a way to keep my helmet from dripping into my cool sunglasses, I think I would be the happiest person on the planet. Because it fucking pisses me off.
Oh, he did again.
It went, you know what it did? It went to the TV monitor.
Uh-huh.
Yep. But now I fixed it.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, why do you do this show live? What about the mistakes? Well, sometimes the mistakes are the fun part.
And you get somebody like
Yeah,
flipping you crap all the time.
Yeah, exactly. There's one of you out there in particular who gives me shit. And I don't know if I know who... Well, I don't know all our listeners because there's fucking millions of them. But it just busts my balls. Just totally busts my balls. And then I'm going, you're kind of being a dick. And then he's like, oh, well, fine. I guess I won't listen till next week. It's time for the voices from the pack. It's time to talk bikes. It's time for the Pack Filler. I'm Pat Bulger, and I am fucking training again. The Vuelta is over. The Worlds are on the near horizon. Let's see who's here to talk about all the great material we have for tonight. Shall we? Okay. Gentlemen, when I introduce you, that was kind of perfect with the wow there. Please respond with the most underrated TV show that you truly love. Jackson's going to be like Phineas and Ferb or something like that because you're just a kid.
Because I watched.
You never watched
still.
Phineas and Ferb, did you?
No.
Did you? Was that's too young for you? I mean, too old for you.
No, I mean, I was around that time, but
Really?
I am also 23.
All right.
So, you know, I've seen other things.
First of all, he's the reason it's called the Rim Break Bar, Mr. Paul Main. How are you, man?
Doing all right. Yeah.
Yeah, you got any TV shows that you were just...
Well, I think this crowd probably watched it. It got awards, but it didn't. It just didn't.
It's going to be a
make it.
Britcom, isn't it?
No.
Really?
Arrested Development.
Oh, really?
That
Oh,
is
I've heard
a
that's pretty
brilliant
funny.
show.
Yeah.
God dang, it's funny.
I never really
Did
got
you ever
into
watch
it.
it?
No, and I think I need to.
It's
They
weird.
start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I did with Breaking Bad. I just was everybody had already watched it. No, Sam, you winks. You win.
Too gruesome.
Oh, I fucking love it. One of the greatest character arcs of all TV shows.
Oh, I can't debate that, but it's just so violent.
And I love Jason Bateman's comedy style, his dry delivery. You know, he's good. I think he's a good.
And Arrested Development.
Yeah.
There's tons.
Have you seen what's the?
It just go to the first 2, I think 3 seasons, and then Netflix picked up. It started getting pretty bad after
Did
that.
it?
So, yeah.
Have you seen what was the one he was in? Jason Bateman just recently. I know people are probably yelling at their
Teen Wolf 2.
devices. No,
I'm just.
no, the one he did
Is it Ozark?
Ozark, yeah.
Uh-huh. I haven't seen that.
It's not comedy. It's
pretty
pretty
good.
dark. Yeah. Second of all, he's the reason that bourbon is on the bar, Mr. Sam Waples. How are you, man?
Good to be back.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. Yeah, repping Ambassador Cycling.
Yeah.
.com. It's my go-to shirt.
It's not Alex Jones, we promise.
I would say most underrated TV show would be Community.
Oh, really?
Have you guys
I
watched
have
it?
not seen that
haven't,
one
no.
either.
I've watched it, yeah.
It's
There's times where I never got really big into the characters. I mean, I just watched it a couple of
Yeah.
times, but it was going off the air
Yep.
when I started watching it.
So, like, I would just summarize it as I was in community college as it came out, and I'm like, wow, this is absolutely the stuff that you see in community college. Like, it's just crazy. Like, oh,
Really?
there's a paintball war that goes and covers the entire campus. That sounds right. You know,
Yeah.
things like that,
Yeah.
right? So it was that, but then it was also, it shifted into doing cool parodies of different shows, like a CSI type show or a, like, you know, slasher film type show, and it would like just do parodies on that.
And Chevy Chase was a part of the cast.
God.
He was like,
Bring him back.
I hear Chevy's kind of an asshole, but
I've heard that
but
too.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think I think it's okay.
as long as I don't have to deal
He's
with
of
it.
that age where it's like, it's okay.
Yeah. It's like my mother. She'll
Yeah.
just randomly be in public and just say something mean about somebody.
Yeah.
Just she's probably going to listen to the show, but she does. I remember when we were up skiing once. She was just like yelling at snowboarders for no reason, and I'm just going, wow. She's made it. She's hit that stage where she can do that, and everybody's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, I just go, she's old.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a great moment. I can't wait to get there.
I'm not gonna say that for you though. I'm gonna say he's a dick.
Especially after the cartoon comment in the opening of the show. Well, no, it was earned. I'm a dick. 30's the reason we're late, Mr. Jackson Vulture. I wrote that before. No, and we're not late, but you know it's fine starting a little bit later.
Yeah.
than normal.
Been kept a little bit later at my other.
I told you, just throw popsicles at him.
That
Flick
the-
on.
Yeah.
Flick
no,
on
those-
Phineas and Ferb, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, you
Then just
problem
leave.
solved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parents show up going, "Whoa,
No adult.
okay, yeah."
That's a good call.
I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. What's your TV show?
It's tough because I have watched a lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
Is it okay to mention more than one? Because I have two in mind. Because my first one is, and a lot of people are going to be like, I disagree, but a show, it's New Girl. It is one of the funniest shows I've watched. It's like a laugh out loud type of show.
I was watching it before I came here.
It's super funny.
So funny.
I thought you were doing a to-do list.
Yeah, well, I do. I
With New
listen.
Girl on in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That one's really good.
Really?
Yeah. It's Zooey Deschanel
Yeah.
is in it.
Who I
pretty
don't
much
like.
Which you...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she does a really good job in that character.
Really?
You
It's
might
not-
like her because
yeah.
you might hate her. That's really good acting in a character that I hate.
Oh, really? You're
Yeah.
not supposed to like her?
She's supposed to be like
She's
kind of
just
annoying.
Annoying.
Oh, then
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one I thought of was Barry. on
Barry's a
HBO.
great
Yeah.
show.
It's Bill Hader.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, he's awesome.
Barry's a brilliant show.
yeah, and it's a mixture between like really funny but also really like
Emotional.
serious
Yeah.
stuff.
He's a contract killer who wants to be an actor.
Oh.
And I love it
okay.
because it's like you get to see what actors are like, and it is exactly
Oh,
what
yeah.
going to college for being a theater major is
Oh,
like.
yeah.
These people are identically the
Yeah.
same, and it is super. It's really funny, I think.
And one of the best performances you'll see of Henry Winkler since The Fonz.
yeah,
Seriously, it's
he's
fucking
crazy.
great.
Like the acting in it is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really good.
There we go. Me, I'm the reason why nobody got any KOMs this past weekend.
But we
Hi,
PR'd.
everybody. Yeah, fuck. I got it for a while, and then I just poo-pooed. I'm Pat Bulger, and you know what? I'm gonna go even old retro, and you gave me crap about cartoons. Fucking Samurai Jack
That's
from
a good
Cartoon Network back in the old days. I'm gonna ruin his name. Genny Tartakovsky was the creator of that show. He also created Dexter's Lab and all this kind of stuff. But this was not a comedic cartoon series. It was. I don't want to say anime because it wasn't, but it was just really creatively done, and I fucking loved it. And if I would have been a pot smoker back in those days, it would have been even better. I would imagine that all the people would have loved it back then. I'm just saying.
If I had to pick a cartoon,
yeah,
Archer.
Archer's pretty
I've heard
funny.
that's pretty funny.
Archer's pretty funny. You got to admit, The Simpsons is probably one of the best though, because they're just what they've done over the years, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they see the future."
They really do.
Yeah. Oh, Simpsons.
Yeah,
Simpsons
I think
did some
it was
funny
just
shit
too
over the
crude
years.
when I was young, so I was like, I
Yeah.
can't watch that.
Yeah.
My parents
yeah.
won't let me.
Yeah, like Family Guy, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, this is usually the part of the show where I ask everybody how much writing they've been doing, but I'm going to shift, and I would like everybody to break down. We all rode together, all four of us collectively as a group, for the first time in a while, and I'm not picking on you, Mia, but I do want to say that I was a shell of my former self. I haven't felt that. I felt strong for a long time on the ride, but on the way home, I haven't felt that absolutely fucking terrible in a long time. I mean, I'm talking about the days, when you bonk and you're like, okay, I can just do this rotation. I didn't bonk. I don't think I bonked, but everything was falling apart. I was cramping. I never cramp on shorter rides like that. It was 50 miles. I never cramp on rides like that. I was just, we were riding up. People are going to understand the reason why I'm out of shape, because I'm about to say we were riding up to the pub afterwards to have beers, and everything was just starting to cramp on me. And I was just like going, what the fuck is wrong with me? I am in such a bad place. And all you guys were very accommodating to my feebleness, but can you guys help me unpack what the fuck was about that ride? How hard it was for you guys? And you can be brutally honest. It was like, no, it wasn't that hard, or whatever. Somebody help me unpack my mental trauma I'm suffering from right now. You guys are like, fuck, dude, just deal with it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Who wants to go first?
Jackson,
Yeah.
you were the fastest on the day.
Yeah.
Well, I woke up feeling pretty good. And then, I just wanted to ride hard. And I also, that was really mainly my main thing. I just really wanted to ride hard that day. And, the day kind of went on. And as we got further into it, I realized that I wasn't really feeling worse at all. And so just kind of kept the pace at what I felt like was tilting on the pretty hard side. And then, just after I had to split off because I had a separate arrangement that I had to get home to at a certain time. So
Can I interrupt? It wasn't a split off.
It was a dropping.
Fucking just went. You just like,
It was.
Off
You
into
guys
the
can't
distance.
hold 400 watts
Yeah.
anymore. Well,
Yeah.
I guess you're not.
I looked
riding
at
with me
Paul and
anymore.
I said, hey man, either Jackson is feeling really good or he's late to get home. And you just looked at me, Paul. You just looked at me and went both.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking both, man.
Yeah.
You just left us, and Sammy went with him.
but
Cool.
This I think this was the first ride that I'd been able to be by my house and not felt like I can't really do anything anymore. But then I got home and it all kind of hit me pretty hard in the shower. Felt like I was like I couldn't really stand up. I had to sit in the shower, and when you have to sit in the shower,
Really?
it's a pretty big day. Yeah. So
That's another level of messed up.
yeah.
You sat in the shower.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
That's-
feeling better
congrats.
already.
Congrats. You did it. That's
Wow.
Yeah.
For those who have no fucking clue what we're talking about, I mean, it's just we it's not like we hit the word go and it's just bleeding through your eyeballs the whole time. But there are sections where it's just full gas. Am I wrong?
I think we just all bring out the best or worst in each other.
Yeah.
Like riding with you guys definitely makes me just want to hurt everyone. And
I like you too.
exactly, right? Like it's a good thing because there's a lot of guys which I'm like, I don't want to play. This isn't fun. But then, you guys, it's fun to just go out and it never starts like that. We always just are out for a ride and then
yeah.
But like, man, that was like, I guess jumping into my piece. Are you done with yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Shower
we
start.
ended with
Sitting in
him
the shower.
sitting in the shower.
Yeah,
so
that
that's
was
a
brutal.
great closing. Fade to black.
I guess considering that I was the second to last person to die, I was doing great. But when we went out, we were just like every little hill, I would look down and we were punching it up over every hill. Like, I don't know what that one is. It's like Government Way or something. You go by the cemetery.
Yeah.
Like, I was sitting on the front there, and then somebody decided to come around. I don't remember who, but come around me, and all of a sudden it was like 600 watts. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going 600 watts up over this mountain now.
Yeah. That was you.
I wasn't doing 600 watts.
You don't have a
computer.
That's what I'm saying. I don't,
God!
I don't pay attention to that.
It's
shit.
in his back pocket. He's just like, I forgot to start
I
it.
don't have a power meter anyway. So.
Yeah.
But like it was just the whole day was hard. Like we, and then we sat up because it was like, oh, well, we're hurting each other. Why are we doing this? Like, let's just have fun. And
Or
so
somebody had a story to tell.
yeah,
or something
and so
like
we
that.
Or a
started
hill
talking.
came up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we started talking, and it would be like 2 minutes that we're talking, and then all of a sudden someone's hammering again.
Yeah.
And so at some point, I think Jackson, I'm gonna blame you. You did
I'll take it.
He hit it up that one hill that is a sustained climb out near
The big
that-
one.
Yeah, that big
Yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, you're not dropping me. And so I followed him knowing full well what was happening. And then from there, I think it was just it kept going. And then Paul did it again to me when he punched it up over another little riser. And then I was like, you know what? You're just like, he did that. It was the second one. And I was like, and then you just kind of like coast over the top. And then you pick up your power again. And I was like, I see what you're doing. I'm going to hold it the whole time over this. And then he just backs off and falls in line. And I'm like, no. How am I up here now?
And you pulled for like 3 miles.
Yeah, that was
Out of
just
anger.
out of
and
anger.
bitterness.
Yeah, because I was like, I knew what he just did to me. He put the young buck that has a like power ego on the front, and I'm like, I'm not gonna give into this. I'm gonna be the young buck.
The sensei has taught you.
Nothing. I'll do it again next week. And so anyway, and then you were the one that pulled around me after I was like,
It was a little dick swinging moment, and
God, I mean, I felt like I was going at a pretty good pace. And then you pull around me, and I was like, I guess Pat's back. Let's go. And so then
the dumbest thing I've done in about probably 90 days.
Yeah. Then the time trial was on all the way home.
Yeah.
Like from when you pulled past me, I don't remember stopping.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just
until Jackson pulled away on the way home.
Yeah, and that was
then
like
Paul was so nice to me. You were such a kind person, Paul. I bet you're a gentle lover.
It was like this. Hey guys, I got Pat. He's really hurting. I'll wheel him in, guys. So yeah, it was. I threw you a solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. All I know is we got to the pub and Sam had already ordered beer.
He was
and
drunk by the time we got there.
God, the worst.
It took us long enough.
Jesus.
The worst part was I like look at the server in the eyes and I'm like, no, I need beer, but I need water first. And he brings me out beer and I'm like, it's close enough to water. Yeah. I start drinking.
There's water in it.
No, there's water in there.
Oh shit. That was not a good day.
No. So yeah, I died following.
So you went hard.
I like that.
You guys all went hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we were at the pub and I'm leaning forward on the table we're at, and I'm sure you guys were all talking about something.
Garlic and butter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sam, you ordered
Beer buddies.
fucking beer buddies, and it's little bread nuggets with marinara, Parmesan, all kinds of stuff on it, and butter up the ass.
And garlic.
And it showed up, and I'm just at that point where I'm just going, you're like, Pat, this will make you feel better. I'm like, no, it won't. And I took another sip of beer, which is the dumbest fucking thing to do. I should just be just slamming water. And I drank a glass of beer, and then I started a second one. I was leaning against the bar, and you guys became Charlie Brown's teacher. It just became this. Yeah. I'm thinking.
That's perfect.
You guys, I gotta go. I gotta go home. And so I left. To say I soft pedaled home would be an understatement of the year, because it was just like,
because you had cafe legs.
Hey, that was pretty much. I think I made that sound through the park coming up to the house. I got home. My wife's in the backyard, and this is not a good time for her to be doing this. She was scooping dog shit, and she just kind of looks at me like, "Oh, how was your ride?" I looked her in the eye and I went, "Honey, I need to go to bed right now." And she's like, "What?" "I need to go to bed. Honey, I need to go to bed." And she's like, and then I went to bed. You
didn't shower?
No, I got out of my kit. I put on different clothes because I fucking soiled my bed. Not soiled my bed like with shit, but
Well, you might have.
My sweaty body. I just got into bed and I pulled the covers up, and I think I cried.
Cried yourself to sleep
Just like,
in fetal position.
oh God, why?
I'm surprised you didn't look
My
at her
dad.
and go, "I need new friends."
Yeah.
Not I need a nap.
And I went there and I slept for like 40 minutes, and I woke up and Michelle. My wife comes up the stairs. I'm walking out of the bedroom to go take a shower finally, and she looks me square in the eye, and with no emotion says, "Oh, you're not dead."
She's the funniest person.
I was like, "No, honey, I'm not. Is there something I can do for you?" And I had to go to the grocery store. That was what she wanted me to do. She wanted me to go to the grocery store.
That's
Fucking
Did you
horrible
shower
life.
then before you went to
I
the
showered
store?
before I went to the store. Yeah. You guys, just for fun, talk to me about times that you had your ass handed to you, and did it motivate you or break you? And how do you because this is honestly, this was one of the, I mean, I haven't had a bad day like that. Now, mind you, I earned it because I haven't ridden for 3 weeks, and I hopped onto the bike thinking, oh, it's just like 5 weeks ago. I'm ready to rock, and I was trying to put down the same watts you guys. But talk to me about times when you just got completely your ass kicked and tried to find a way to not throw your bike into the dumpster, like that Daniel LaRusso video I sent you guys from the Karate Kid, where he throws his bike into a dumpster. I hate this bike. Fuck this bike. I hate this bike. Somebody.
I mean, a lot of my younger years were that. Just trying to keep up with you guys, Paul and Dad. I remember that. I mean, there were multiple days where I've not been strong enough or fit enough or stuff like that. But I mean, BWR is the day that really comes out in my mind. I mean, and Christ, that was 2 years ago at this point, a year ago.
No, a year ago. Yeah,
a year ago.
Yeah.
But just that was the most empty I think I've ever been.
Yeah. But nobody really kicked your ass on that.
No, exactly.
Per se.
Yeah.
So you're basically you're so strong that nobody's beaten you.
No, I think there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people that have beaten me before.
Game on.
But I think, yeah,
I'm gonna hurt you so bad this weekend.
But what I think what I mean is like the younger years. You know, when you're 15 and you don't ride that much, and then you realize that, oh, these guys do it all the time. That type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think to answer the question of it, it's I think it's definitely motivating, especially being young and looking up. I think it's like, I want to be like that, you know? And so I think from a different perspective, answering the question, I think I found it was a motivation always getting my ass handed to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the growing pain kind of a thing like that, you know, the initiation. And that's what especially road cycling is. Well, no, I'm going to say all forms of cycling is. It's where it's this learning curve that's so steep that you can't just jump into this. Well, Remco Evenepoel. Fuck that guy. But you don't get that. There's a learning curve where you don't just walk into the sport kicking ass. Anybody Paul?
I have I would just say every season almost I've gone out and done this like back-to-back century almost. Like it's beginning of season and I have this friend who's one of my best friends and he's just stupid strong. And he just breaks me. Like he's probably David's size-ish. Maybe he's just a little bit shorter, but like he's David's size and he'll just sit up there at 250 watts for a century. And so it's like I start out maybe next to him, and then by the end of it, I'm like, please just God, let me get home today. Yeah. And then the next day, he's like, so we're doing it again? I'm like, I guess we are.
You are one of the most pain intolerant, and I mean this is a compliment, blockheads I've ever met in my entire life. You just love to just go like, I don't care, we're just going to hurt.
Yeah.
You do that. It's like you become the separate person on a bike. It's just like, must make ouch now.
Yeah. Must make mini ouch.
Yeah. And it's just like, I'm going, fuck, dude, you stop. You're like, no, I'm still alive.
Yeah. And like, I mean, but I think that this guy has like shown me that. Like he's one of those guys that I've seen him in like, where it looks like there's actually no human being in his eyes, because he's just so sheltered and he just continues to sit there. So like in every year, that's always my motivating point. I didn't do it this year. And I'm going to chalk it up to that's why I didn't have a very good year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's his fault.
So,
not mine.
Dude,
but anyway, it's every year. It's like, that's what I do. I go up to Bellingham with him and we do some huge weekend. And then I'm like, all right, that was what I needed. I'm ready for the season.
It's like that kickstart button.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It's just like, you got to get knocked down to that low point. You have to have that ride that you're going to look back on and you're going to be like, that sucked, and I don't think I want to ride bikes again. Yeah. This year it was Chafe 150 for me.
Oh God!
Like you were saying last week, how my eyes were just like
you were terrible. You were
I was
gone.
broken.
Yeah.
That was this year, but I think it's motivating.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I think it's motivating too. I mean, in the early days, you think you've got your mark. You train with certain people, and you go out, and then you're riding with people. Like for me, as a Cat 4, I just found other people to ride with, that road. I ride bikes too.
When you were a Cat 4.
Yeah, way back, And so then it's like anybody you wanted to ride with. And then pretty soon you meet people that are Ricky racers. I'm going to throw that back.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It's sticking.
And then I want to be a part of this group, and you start riding, and you get your butt handed to you. And to me, it's like, I'm just going to keep going. That's the motivation. Like long rides, and the way Sam was talking about it at that Chafe 150, that's never enjoyable. That's just, that's not my type of riding. When you have competition, you're banging each other and you're trying to, like a boxing match without gloves, you're doing your little tactics. That stuff's fun. And some days you win, some days you just like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, so I think nowadays some of the cool things are where, when you've done it for so long that you're in the hole and you're thinking this is just one day, this is going to be, it's not going to be a problem. Yeah. But I have countless. And when I see somebody fall, somebody who's fallen back and you go to get them, everybody's like, leave me. Like you did.
Yeah.
No, go on.
So I don't,
and I don't think that helps. If somebody's out there, they're gonna hate it worse than, because I've been there where it's like, God, I suck. I don't even know what I'm doing here. And when you have somebody to talk to wheel it back, it's good.
That, and just to be like, no, you're not done yet. You're not. What is your thing, like a dirt nap?
Yeah, dirt nap.
Yeah, dirt nap. You're not in your dirt nap yet.
Yeah.
Huh. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, I think. Yeah, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Like, it was good that you guys rode in together, because it's like, you're not dead yet, Pat.
Because I would have hung with him easy.
Oh, he would have been there.
Oh, God. And
because when they're my age, I'll be dead.
Yeah. See.
God.
When I was young, I started off the sport when I was 13 years old, and grew through the sport. And when you're 13 and you enter a junior race, you probably have a pretty good chance of doing okay. And so I did okay, and I was a big young kid, so strength was a natural.
You're probably
thing for
already
me.
shaving by 13.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So it became this.
You race against guys that had like hair one,
Yeah, exactly.
That's just not fair.
Yeah, the pube didn't come for 3 more years. Yeah.
Shut up. Fuck you. I missed a spot shaving. Yeah.
Me attack now.
Yeah.
me bring the ouch. To bring that one back. And so I grew up through the sport, and I grew up consistently training more and more every year. So I kind of, and I'm not being arrogant, but I'm going to say this, stick with me. I never really sucked, okay, until college when I switched to rowing and stuff like that, and I took a few years off the sport, and I came back again, and everything was pretty good. And then, I was strong for a while, and then they always say, when your kid's born, and I'm not blaming you, Jackson, when your kid's born, things, kind of slow down. And it did. And I took about 5 years off the bike. And now, when you take 5 years off the bike as a full-grown adult, you suck. You really suck. And it has taken, and on top of the fact that the fitness has taken years to bring back, the mental element has taken me years to get back. So I'm this little desert flower. I am such a little pussy when it comes to the elements of getting my ass kicked. I get my ass kicked. I'm like, that's it. I suck. I'm never going to ride my bike again. I'm Danny LaRusso throwing my bike in a dumpster. And I've become just this little frail little wuss. And it's so hard for me to try to deal with these barriers, and when Paul's hanging back with me, sometimes I get even more weak because I'm like, oh no, Paul's just hanging out with me, he's talking nice. It's just like, it's like holding my hand at my deathbed. It's like, it's okay, Pat, you're fine.
That's right.
You're okay.
There's always tomorrow.
There's always
Yeah, I feel like maybe we've touched on this before, but I feel like a big part of it too is like my mentality whenever I go into anything that's not even a race, but like nobody can hurt me more than I can hurt myself.
Yeah.
Right? Like I am willing to go until I explode. Right? And so, and if you focus on it in that way, as opposed to like, oh, I wasn't fast enough, like I would focus on it as like, I am only upset if I ever quit before I was like, oh, I wasn't actually done.
Oh, yeah.
And so then it's like you're putting it on yourself as opposed to others, because there's always going to be like, man, I was king of others being faster than me. That was my whole story of my 1-2 career. And so I think that personally, like just focusing on the like, I'm going to absolutely bury myself, whether I end up hurting others along the way and, winning or being out the back, doesn't really matter. So I think switching like, mindset perspective too.
Oh, I'll just do that then.
Yeah, if you can just look at it,
change everything about myself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look
all my
within
insecurities.
yourself.
Yeah, if you can just wake up tomorrow a different person, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Problem solved.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe a time machine would be cool too.
Yep.
You got a hot tub?
I do have a hot tub.
Hot tub time machine right there, buddy.
I think let it also be said, it was a very smoky day.
Yes, it was.
Horribly
and
smoky
I
day.
felt like I smoked a pack afterwards.
We had toxic air.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were out
Yeah,
there.
that's why I felt so lightheaded.
Oh my god.
Yeah, my throat like
You and I were sitting, Sam. You and I were sitting at the table. It's we were counting our head spins. It was like, well, round number
Here we
3. Round number 3.
The world is
I'll be back in
spinning.
a sec.
Yeah.
All right, what were you saying?
It was like I was sitting on Jackson's wheel and I just saw like the water splashing back and forth in his bottle. I was like, I want that so bad. I was like, and I like, that's all I could focus on. And I was like, where am I?
Yeah, fuck.
I'm still on Jackson's wheel.
So if you had to give the effort you put out on that ride on a scale of 1 to 10, what would it be, Jackson?
I mean, I went pretty all out on that one. So I'd give it like a 10.
10. You'd go full 10.
9.
Okay. No, that's I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll go a 9.
in the shower.
Yeah. I could have thrown up in the shower too. That would have been way worse.
Really?
Goals for this weekend.
I was hurling. I was on the verge of puking.
Dry heaving.
Yeah, I was like, Sam, what would you give it?
I would give it a 10. Yeah,
really?
For sure. I mean, I've been more shelled, but like, man, my arms, like I was saying, my arms were going numb.
Yeah.
And my vision, I couldn't like focus anymore. So yeah, that's about as hard as it can go. Like that was pretty broken.
In all honesty, I'd probably give it a 10 as well.
Yeah, like I don't think that I would even give it a 9. I was shattered.
This is helping.
Yeah.
You guys, this is fucking therapy for
me.
Now Paul's gonna be just like, fuck, I hung with you.
Well,
it's like a 4.
No, I mean early on I let these two guys like, put the pace.
He'd light the match and walk away.
Yeah.
Put the stick in the hornet's
like
nest.
that superhero shot. That superhero shot where you're slow motion walking away and the explosion happens behind you.
Yeah,
that's what you were.
One of those.
Yeah. What would you give it?
I think effort wise, on my end, I know that things were going pretty fast, but on my end, even I'm not counting when we both set up and stuff. I would say it was probably around 8. I think there's, but I wasn't doing 3-mile poles, or pushing 400 watts like Jackson or anything like that. No,
yeah, you were.
I had moments of just the stick with 600 watts for over.
Such a jerk.
Mine was a 17.
17.
It was fucking horrible. That is beautiful. I'd do it again. I'll do it this weekend.
Yeah.
We are late into the news, so we're going to do kind of a truncated version of the news before we get to the topic. So let's talk about Remco Evenepoel. He won the 2022 Vuelta a España, in case you didn't know, in case you're just waking up after being in that cave for a long time, which means I don't have to go too far in depth. So, with Remco Evenepoel winning the Vuelta a España, I would like to ask a very quick question. Who's surprised?
Not him.
Oh, not me.
Yeah. Not Jackson.
I will say I'm not surprised. I think he skipped all 2 Grand Tours before this in preparation for it. And also hearing his interview really showed that he had been preparing for so long for this. He was saying he was preparing like this. Oh, he was preparing for this race like it was the last race of his career. I feel like that shows a lot of desire from Remco.
As somebody who's supposed to do research for this podcast, I did not know that.
Yeah, he got really intense about that final interview that he gave.
Is he less of a punk?
He is.
Shit.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Is he really? Okay.
Yeah, he interviewed very well.
Yeah.
Very well, yeah.
Paul, Sam, surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. Man, he, like, anybody that can... the last person I would say that I saw did that style of race was Bradley Wiggins. Right? Like, he just held his own pace. Like, people would attack, and they're like, why am I... Enrique Mas, right? Like, would go up the road, and he's in 3rd place at the time.
Roglic.
When he would... Roglic, And it's like, nope, this is the pace that I have. This is what I'm doing. And just trusting, like, it's all going to come back together because they can't hold that, right? Like, he almost, like, team skied them solo. Like, think about those climbs that he just sustained on his own. Like, that was really impressive.
Yeah.
So, I mean... Yeah, after seeing him, everybody's like, "Oh, he's a lot weaker." He lets some seconds get away, and I'm like, he soloed up that whole thing.
Yeah,
he's not weaker.
That's what I think is so exciting about the current state of cycling is that it's not necessarily a team sitting at the front with 400 watts and nobody can hold it. It's a strong team, but spearheaded by such strong individuals at this point that we just see really intense battles that we haven't seen in a few years.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing also a gigantic youth movement.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the correct me if I'm wrong, we need our statistician. All 3 Grand Tours were won by somebody who was also in the Young Riders jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Not Vinigo.
Vinigo was 25.
Oh, is he? Okay, so we just missed it. But Jesus Christ, 25.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing this incredible push of this youth movement. Now, but the irony also is in the women's
to reiterate
movement.
that. Yeah. Out of the top 7, 4 of those were 22 years old in the top in the Vuelta.
In the Vuelta.
Yeah.
The 3rd place podium was 19.
Yeah. That kid's going to be
insane.
So you look at UAE. I know. I'm sorry I took it away, but
no, I want you to.
UAE. People are like, Tade hasn't had any support. Well, they've got support this next year. It's going to be fireworks if everybody stays healthy and Riverside down.
So excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Should Remco, if you were Patrick Lefevre, would you push Remco to focus on Grand Tours at this point in time in his career, or would you keep things as is? Now, mind you, Jackson, you're just saying that he did, in essence, focus on a 3-week Grand Tour.
Yeah, I think that he could be. I mean, he's obviously, as he's proven, he's a really good one-day racer. But I think, I mean, he really proved it over these past 3 weeks. And I mean, if he wants to take on a France or an Italy again, I mean, I don't think there's anything holding him back from being one of the top contenders. It's just, what are the other top contenders holding close to their chest? I think that's the big question.
I don't think that they will put the manpower behind it. You have to have a whole team that's like based off of that.
Quickstep's got a lot going for it. Yeah, a lot of eggs in the basket.
Yeah, like you can't be a Grand Tour team and a one-day classic team. I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I personally think that he wouldn't do as well as he did if it was the Giro or the Tour. Like, I think that those are targeted.
I'm in the same boat, man.
Yeah, a lot heavier.
But there's that. What do we have to gamble because we never know. But if we do gamble, we can have it thrown back in our faces, and that's tough. I mean, especially with these riders of this incredible talent. You look at a guy like Geraint Thomas, and there's a lot of discussion that if Geraint wouldn't have gone for Grand Tours, he could have had one of the most amazing classics and short stage race careers of any rider out there. Now, mind you, he won a tour and he podiumed this year, and he's had a good career, but that's a big thing to put upon a rider, and there's no magic wand that tells you if they're going to pull it off. So a lot of money to invest too.
And I think if he is going up to face like this year's Vingegaard and Pogačar and Thomas as well, I don't think he would have made that top 3 podium if he were to go up against that top 3, because that was an insanely fast Grand Tour this year.
And I just don't think that Quickstep has the manpower for that.
And they've got people like Alaphilippe who want to win stages, and they've got other people like that, and they've got so many pokers in the fire, so to speak, that could.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to continue targeting the Vuelta, then great. But I just and isn't that kind of crazy that we're talking about a Grand Tour? Like, well, you won the Vuelta,
but it is only the Vuelta.
It's only the Vuelta.
Fucking Chris Horner won it.
Yeah, exactly. At 40 something.
Yeah.
Well, I think the big thing is, I think long term, I mean, Quickstep has signed him to 2026.
Oh wow.
Lefebvre is always said that he's not ready for the Tour. He says his next year he will not do the Tour. He'll be doing the Giro.
Really?
Yep. And everybody wants to throw him in there, and I think. The factor that we don't understand is the Belgian people. They won a Grand Tour winner, and then they won a Tour de France, and everybody wants to put them in there. I think we've watched. I think it would caught a lot of people out of thinking that Remco would win or do anything in this Vuelta is because he hadn't proved and he wasn't mature. But the way he raced for the first time, not when somebody attacked. In the Giro that one year that he did he was going after him.
Yeah.
And he can't do that. He's not that type of rider. But I think that, they develop a style. They have plenty of years. If he's just doing the Giro and maybe the Vuelta in the same year next year, I don't know if that's on the books or not.
Yeah.
But they will start slowly bringing in people to help him. Because I think then 2024 they're going to shoot for it, and so Lefebvre is not he's as much as people hate him.
Yeah,
he is extremely brilliant.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah,
something's working.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Belgian people, something that I saw in the interview that he gave was they asked how do you they'll create this huge party in Belgium, and they were talking to him about it, and one of the first things he said was, "I don't want to think about it."
Yeah,
which is super interesting to me. And
who said that?
Remco did. And I think
it's the day before.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to note the amount of pressure that this 20-some-year-old, honestly, I mean, I feel like a kid still, but 20-some-year-old guy is being put on him. That is
the whole nation is on your shoulders. That's what they feel.
That is so much, and for such a heavy cycling community that Belgium is, it's like I think that it might be honestly a little too much at some points. I mean, stop comparing him to Merckx. Stop doing all this stuff, because if you do, it's just going to get to his head.
That country, you have no idea. That is their life. That's their church. That is their God, is cycling.
And that's so much weight to put on them.
I'm laughing at you.
You're laughing at the beer I just poured because I saw you. I looked over your shoulder and you were like doing this bobbing thing. You were just like, woo, woo.
He's like an artist.
And I was watching. I was like, going, okay, I'll try that. And this is what I came up with. This, 4 inches of foam. Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. And then I think, sorry to keep monopolizing this, but I think that another thing that Remco said in that exact same interview was to think about how he was excited about his win, but then he said, I'm already thinking about Monday or next week.
Yeah.
How he's thinking about the World
Championship TTs.
Yeah, is insane. And to me, that shows how much of a professional this guy really is.
And focused.
Yeah. The fact that he just won probably one of the most prestigious races of his entire career, and the fact that he's already thinking about the next thing really shows how quickly he can refocus.
I want more. Yeah, I want more.
That's hungry.
So speaking of teams and a lot along these lines, we've got a lot of riders who are not heading to the World Championships this year because their teams need them to stay and earn UCI points in races. We've got several teams on the verge of relegation. For example, I have a list here thanks to our friends at Pro Cycling Stats, and I look, we've got, of course, Jumbo-Visma, Quick Step, Ineos, UAE, at the top, but down near the bottom, we're staring at, Cofidis at 18, Lotto Soudal 19, Israel Premier Tech at 20, Israel Premier Tech, huge budget at 20. Total Energy at 21 and Uno X at 22. So we're staring down the barrel of some of these riders of these teams skipping the World Championships because their teams are in danger of surviving. We think of relegation. I immediately think of soccer. Mm-hmm. And I think of the fact that these teams still continue to exist. The clubs still continue to exist. Mm-hmm. However, in the sport of cycling, correct me if I'm wrong, we're looking at potentially Total Energy. If they lose a status, they're not UCI Pro Tour. They're not top tier.
They're not a Pro Tour.
But if they were to be even more punished in any way, shape, or form, that's it. They're gonna pull the sponsors are gonna pull their money and walk away. This isn't a club with a local community and an arena in which they play in and all this kind of stuff. It's not an established, brick and mortar business. Talk to me about what you guys think about this relegation concept and what is, what the idea for it is. Do you agree with it? Do you think it's fucking bullshit? I think it's fucking bullshit. I think I understand the idea. It encourages teams to motivate and try to get results, but I also think it just punishes for you if you got a team with COVID or if things just aren't working out.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it really does remind me of like a Premier League type of situation in England, and it's you really see that a lot of teams if they get relegated and they have a top class player, immediately they lose that top class player to a stronger team, and I think that's what's going to happen with this. I mean, if Total Energies goes down, you think Peter Sagan's going to stay? No. I mean, he's not gonna ride a local crit.
He's going full privateer. He's going to race with Sam and his wife.
But in all honesty, that's what they risk happening. It's and so I think it's really rough on the teams, and I don't know if I really necessarily agree with it, especially with a sport that's not so cash strapped as a soccer type of sport is. It could be really detrimental to some of these teams, and it really doesn't bring any more competitive nature anymore, because once you start getting into that, the lower teams that can really rival those bigger teams with the one-day stage wins or something like that, you're not going to get that anymore. You're going to get teams that have no chance of winning because they don't have the riders that are capable of doing that, and you're going to get the teams that are completely stacked with these riders that came from those lower teams anymore. So it's just going to...
It's done. Yeah.
It's going to completely
It becomes
tilt.
a New York Yankees kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dream team, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a fuck scenario.
Well,
yeah.
I was going to say, I kind of like the idea personally.
Do you
I think
really?
the point system is where the that's gone foul. Where you have, teams are now sending to different races, to get as many points as they can. It's changing how people are racing. The key to the World Tour, being a World Tour team, is you're invited to all World Tour classes. Everybody else is on a rotation. So like Total and Cofidis, I think, is World Tour now, aren't they, this year? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and before you had to pay bucks. That was the part I had a problem with. You had to pay X amount of dollars, and you had to have some points. So you had to go out and spend and get a Sagan, and he had no support, type of thing, but he had enough points to get you in the World Tour. So you can see, in the Grand Tours, and you're in all these ASO races. But I think that needs to be switched. Valverde is not going to do this last Worlds because Movistar needs the points, so he's going to be doing races on the continent.
Yeah.
The other drawback too, I don't think it would have been an issue for Worlds had it been in Europe and not Australia. So
an obtainable distance.
Yeah, and to reiterate that, the United States, so Lawson Craddock is not doing Worlds because
his visa was
rejected.
Yeah.
They have a pro U.S. Mountain biker who's going in for his place, who's never raced a UCI race. That's the situation we're getting into, and so it's still going to be a good race. But
who won Leadville?
Keegan Swenson.
Yeah, Keegan
Swenson is going.
Keegan's going. Yeah,
that is so funny. The fact that Lawson Craddock, who races for an Australian team, cannot get into Australia is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit because I want to get into the topic, and I'm trying to keep the show under an hour, and I'm going to fail miserably at it. But I want to get to the launching pad. I want to talk about the pity party heard around the world, and I'm sure we all heard about this. We all know about the situation. Primož Roglič put out he and Jumbo-Visma put out an entire package talking about the crash in the Vuelta. And I'm going to quote the release here. This was not okay. This shouldn't happen. People move on swiftly as nothing happened. For me, that doesn't apply. This is not the way I want the sport to continue, and I want to make that clear. He went on to say the crash was not caused by a bad road or a lack of safety, but by a rider's behavior. Intentional pause. I don't have eyes on my back. Otherwise, I would have run wide. Wright came from behind me and rode the handlebars in my hands before I knew it. So Primož Roglič had a horrible crash in the Vuelta. Primož was going for as much time as he could possibly get in the Vuelta this year, and I was excited. I was loving watching what he was doing in the race. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've seen him hit the pavement quite a few times.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's unfair. I would like your guys' thoughts on the crash, and I would like your guys' thoughts on the decision to post this statement by Jumbo-Visma. Does anybody have any overwhelming yays or nays?
Well, I think you mentioned fairness, and I think that is something that is very important to talk about. And I feel like what Primo said is not fair to Fred Wright. I think that, I watched Dan Lloyd and Adam Blythe comment on it, and I think that they are completely right. They mentioned that it is really not fair because this was Primo's fault. No, it wasn't Primo's fault. It was him not paying attention to what was...
It's a brain fart moment.
Yeah, not behind him, but beside him, rather. And I think if you are wanting to engage in a sprint type of scenario, you have to also just ride on your line.
Yeah.
You can't move. You can't swerve. You can't do any of that stuff. You have to keep your line. And as you see it, he does swerve wide, and then he comes back, and he wasn't looking to where Fred Wright is. it was just a racing scenario. It wasn't really it wasn't a dangerous move at all. And I think that, in my opinion, that's what desperation sounds like. Yeah. And I feel like that's what desperation from somebody who's had a not great year sounds like.
Yeah.
And I think that he was trying to blame it on something outside of himself. And as a cyclist, I understand that, but I don't think it was a good thing to say against Fred Wright.
How does this make Roglic look in your personal eyes? You guys, what do you think?
Less heroic.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, beforehand, he had been, like, handed a pretty shit deal in the sense of, like, I mean, various different accidents, and it's like he's never once complained about that.
Yeah.
And then this time he's, like, you know, throwing a fit about it, and I don't know if fit's the right word, but it's one of those things, like, man, I'd be seeing stars too if I was holding 600 watts for as long as he was. Like, the guy was just blurry in the eyes, like, and that stuff happens. It's super unfortunate, but that's bike racing.
Yeah.
And it was, it ruins it kind of for me in the sense that he's always been one of those stoic guys that's like, well, I'm coming back next year. And so to hear him complain about it was kind of like, that's a bummer.
Who do you think the person was that signed off on this statement and said, yeah, let's throw it out there? I mean,
I think that happens. You know, you look at Ineos and Sky back in the day when things they just made comments because they are number one.
Yeah.
Jumbo-Visma is now number one. They are the team. They just can kind of shift push their weight around. I think their PR man just probably thought, I don't know what the state of mind of Roglic is like. I want this out. This is how I feel. I'm tired. I've been like eating asphalt for the last 2 years. So and I think in the heat of the moment, we've all been there. Especially even on a local race where I've seen tempers fly and almost fisticuffs because one guy saw it one way and another guy saw it another. And I think all of us agree, if you look at the footage, if I put myself in Roglic's way, in his position, moving over, that really is my fault. I just squeezed somebody off, tried to knock him off because he was on that wheel, and
Fred Wright was.
And he moved over. He just didn't see him because he was out front, pulled out, and thought, oh, he didn't keep track because he's been pulling.
Yeah,
for the last 2-3 kilometers, and he thought, I'll just ride this in and try and see if I can eke out a few more seconds. So that's just like Sam said, that's bike racing. Yeah. You're gonna eat asphalt, and it's a bummer when you do it in 2 Grand Tours back to back. And put you out.
So you were saying, Paul, that you've had experiences in your life, and so my topic, it's kind of a mini topic tonight in terms of time, but I want to talk about mistakes. We all make them, and what is important, how you handle yourself. Anybody in this room ever caused a crash?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I see some uncomfortable gestures, and I had it on the wrong camera. Anybody ever caused a crash? You don't have to talk about it, I guess, if you don't want to. Statute of limitations might not be up yet, but
no, I caused a bad crash, and I don't know if it was entirely my fault, but like I was doing Tour de Bloom, and
he said Tour de Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
That's an ongoing rule.
I was. So this was racing Audi days, and we had a guy competing for GC, and I was sitting on the front with Ian Tubbs. You know Ian Tubbs now.
Yep.
And my brother was second wheel, Ian Tubbs was third wheel. I was in the front. I railed a corner really hard going across the bridge before you start to go back up on the first day, and then you like do that little sprint climb. Anyway, rail that corner. And I took it at 30 miles an hour because it's a crit in my eyes. Like, why would you not? But it was definitely not worthy of a 30 mile an hour, as it was more than 90. Sent multiple people into the side of the bridge.
Okay, can I ask you, did you clear that corner?
I made it.
So you were in front.
That's not your fault.
I don't think that's your fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought it could be done at 30, so I
Fuckers
did
should
it.
have hit the brakes if they couldn't ride that.
Everybody's
Okay.
going at
It's not
their
your
own
fault.
Everybody goes up to me and is like, Sam, you just wiped out half the field.
No,
and I was
bullshit.
Like,
If you can do it at 30 miles an hour, so can everyone else.
That's
Yeah.
no, but
Yeah.
if you could
Or
do
they
30
need to
miles
slow
an hour,
down.
yeah,
Okay,
you
cool,
just
cool.
gap the field then. If you
Great.
could do 30 miles, no, you're good.
I'm going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah, well, yeah,
oh my
you're
gosh.
fine.
Off your
You're
chest
fine. You're fine.
But there was another one at Tour
there's another
Walla.
one.
That one was not my fault, but I did just nail a guy, and I got up and lost it in front of everyone.
You
Just
did.
Swearing and
Okay,
my
I'm gonna
teammate
get to
came
that.
over and
I'm
was
gonna
like,
get to that. I just want to know: has anybody else ever caused a crash?
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's ample amount. Yeah.
I will
I
this
mean,
weekend.
I had a year kind of, yeah, I could have done it easy. But, sometimes you just, whether it's putting a water bottle down in your cage or look over and overlap a wheel,
Sure.
and then you stack everybody behind
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that happens. That's bike racing. And, of course, everybody calls you a dumb fuck. And,
Yeah.
And, peas in your water bottle. That only happened once. But anyway,
yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it does happen. You feel, and when it's a sprint, it's a tactical move and everybody's trying to get into position, that's a different thing than a stupid look over your shoulder to talk to somebody and overlap a wheel.
Yeah.
That's idiotic. When it's a tactic or you're trying to get into position, it's a different type of causing a crash.
Yeah.
So
Jackson, you're still young enough.
God,
to
you haven't
be
raced
okay.
enough.
Yeah. He needs. Yeah. COVID fucked it.
COVID,
over a couple
COVID
years
did.
for
Yeah,
Jackson.
that wasn't fair.
I'm trying to think if I've ever caused a crash. I've been involved at the pointy end of the field where a lot of crashes have happened, and I've heard a lot of "hey," but maybe I'm not paying attention, or I just don't care about other human beings.
yeah,
that's
I don't
probably
think.
Have you ever blamed somebody else for a crash, and how have you approached that post race? Sam, you were just saying you got up and you were like, "You motherfucker!"
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah. So it was like Tour Walla Walla, massive crash coming into the final turn that just took out everybody.
Yeah.
So they just restarted. And they're like, so everybody is, coming through the line and they're just like ringing the bell, like it's neutral. Nobody go. They call off the race, right? Because it's like people got hauled
Walla
off on
Walla?
stretchers. Yeah.
I was announcing that fucking race.
Yeah. Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the crate announcer. for that
Yeah.
race.
Okay. So I was there, and
you didn't even know him.
I didn't know him.
You did.
I didn't know him.
So there was a massive crash. They called it off, and then so everybody's like, was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna ride around, and then we'll just line up again because we don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
They're like, well, one guy in front of me decides to hit the brakes and turn hard right in front of me to get off the course quicker to get back to line up in the front, and I just hit the back of his wheel and go at like 25 miles an hour up over. And land straight down, and my instant reaction is like, I lose it.
Yeah.
And my teammate's like,
That's
coming over like, dude, you
that's
got
it. That's
Oh,
a warranted.
right.
Yeah.
And so, but my teammate's like, you got to be really cool. We got sponsors all over our jerseys, like, and he's trying to rush me off, and I am just like red in the face, right?
Fuck,
yeah.
beep,
Yeah.
beep,
And then we
beep.
have to line up, and they're like, you guys got one lap. I'm like, oh, so it's just another bloodbath because
Because the corner, you gotta get that turn one.
And I think what they ended up doing was like, I don't remember. My brain is still foggy from that crash. But I think they like called it or something.
Really? Shit. I've had moments where I've freaked out on people. I think I remember very vividly in downtown Central Washington, someplace, calling somebody a fucking asshole at the top of my lungs in the middle of the city. Kids are there, parents are there going,
Way to
hey,
go,
let's check
Pat.
out bike racing. And I'm like, you fucking twat, or something like that. And I think I was too young to realize how big of an asshole I was being at that point in time. And I do remember also a fight that my sister and I had. My sister was not a bike racer, but after a weeknight race, I was a kid. I was probably 14, 15 years old, and I was in the points lead, and I flatted, and the person who beat me was the person in second in points, and I was really pissed, and I just wanted to ride home.
On a flat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't.
Oh, yeah, tubulars. You're safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank goodness it wasn't tubeless
You're
back
right.
then.
You're right. And so I decided to ride home, and my sister's in the car beside me going, "Get in the car!" And I'm just screaming at her. We're riding down this residential area. I mean, mind you, this race I only lived about a mile and a half away from, and we're just screaming at each other in the middle of the street, and I'm just going,
"Is this the Bradley's crit?"
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I got so irate, and I that was a total temper tantrum. I mean, I just lost my shit, and I've done that, and I still do as a grown man. You know, there are moments where I freak out. Jackson could probably yeah, you do. Have you guys ever thrown that complete rage fit at Sam? You were just saying you did. Anybody else ever thrown?
No,
Paul, you're just cool as a fucking cucumber.
Because I know that someday it's going to be me that makes a stupid move. So I try to. And same with car accident, when somebody cuts me off or something. Nobody wants to cause a car accident, and I don't know why people go into rage. It's like, have you never ever did what that person just did in front of you? That's the attitude I've always had.
Never.
Yeah. That it's just like, you almost caused me to crash. So sorry, seriously. It's not like, yeah, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But.
In a race, do you guys find your inner asshole where it's like, for example, I'm thinking of a crit moment where I stand up and somebody bumps my rear tire, like, hey, and I'm like, fucking deal with it, man. What the fuck's wrong with you? Or I become that asshole.
I had a situation with a guy.
I might be a terrible person.
You're gonna wake up a new person tomorrow.
Yes,
though.
you are. We're working.
So let's just purge this shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I had a situation where I was moving a teammate, and I tried to get it through the middle up to the front because I knew attack was coming. So then I kind of worked my way to the edge where the yellow line is, center line type of thing. And people started moving a little bit to the right, and I shot, and this guy moves over, and I leaned into him because he was going to bump me. And I was coming from behind, but it was just, I wasn't like shoving.
Yeah.
And then
you weren't
at this
full
point,
Legion of Los Angeles.
No, yeah, but my momentum was faster than he was, and so as he went by, he just like punched me in the ribs.
What the fuck? Whoa. Really?
And it's like it's just like, well, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. My teammate didn't go through after that, and I got up front, and I should have just held my line right next to him, and then talked to him. Hey, dude, I was just coming up, and you moved back over. But he probably doesn't remember that. He's probably think he's in a straight line.
Yeah.
You know how the pack just kind of moves a little bit, and I'm like, I got to shoot this. Hopefully my teammates with me, and then all of a sudden everything moved over to the, and it's just, that's part of racing.
Yeah.
But a slug in the rib cage is not worth it.
Yeah.
But I think later he ended up talking to the guy like several races later, and he's a nice guy. Yeah. He didn't even remember who it was. He was just pissed at that moment, and that's the problem with bike racing. You're so caught up in the moment. Adrenaline. You're at your maximum
endorphins.
Yeah, and you're at your maximum effort. And any break of concentration, sometimes we have a tendency to just freak out.
And to close out the Roglic thing, I could see him making that statement immediately at the finish line and saying that this was Fred Wright's fault, blah, 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 blah. But it turned out he did it a while later, and that was just, it was not good tact. Let's end with some fun, you guys. Brought to you by our friends at Wahoo Fitness. You need to check out all the upgrades to the Kicker line, which now includes Wi-Fi, apparently. So now it's an even more secure connection. So cool. Everything's so dialed in. So, in other words, we all got to go out and buy more money. But you buy more money, buy more stuff. Use the link at Packfiller.
Money also.
Yeah, exactly. This is a quick one. This is quick response. This is rapid fire. Packfiller personal preferences. Notice how I do the PPP. So I'm going to ask you something, and you just got to give me a quick response, okay? So, for example, the first answer, bike brand that is your favorite, Jackson.
I mean, it's probably going to be BMC because I ride it all the time.
Okay, I'm going to bike brand that is your least favorite, Jackson.
Man, I don't know if I have a least favorite because I don't know if I've ridden enough bikes.
Bike brand that you'd like to try, Jackson.
Ooh, I think a Specialized.
Okay, well, really?
Yeah. Win a lot of races.
Sam, bike brand you'd like to, your favorite?
Cervelo.
Least favorite?
Trek.
Like to try?
Giant, maybe?
Giant?
Yeah. Well, I really like Giant. I mean, I think that they're like great
Karsten
bang for your buck.
just creamed his shorts.
Yeah. I think they're great bang for your buck, and I think they have a lot of good options out there. I think it's similar to Cervelo, too. Yeah. Like, they line up.
Yeah. Favorite, least favorite, and like to try, Paul?
Favorite BMC.
Yeah.
Least favorite. I'm on the Trek to Gimmick Tree. They always do gimmicks. All their things.
Okay.
So proprietary.
Probably what I'd like to try. I've had a Cervelo. I was pretty happy with it, but I've already tried that. But the Argon 18. I think I would try that.
Okay, really.
Oh.
My favorite. I've never ridden a Colnago, but that's I want to say that's my
I owned one.
That's the one I want to try, but it's also my favorite. I just think they're beautiful. My least favorite, Schwinn. I mean, I love them all. I love everybody, and I would like to try. I'd honestly like to try Canyon. I would like to try Canyon.
Oh,
I would like to try Canyon. Jackson helmet brand you swear by.
POC.
Specialized.
Giro.
I'm back to POC. Although I can't get the sweat to stop dripping into my eyes. Brand of shoes you swear by, Jackson, or you would like to swear by.
It's been Giant for the past year. I'm interested in Shimano though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Specialized.
CD.
Paul, you know what? I would probably go back to CD.
Mm-hmm.
I love my current shoes, and no offense to Giant, I fucking adore the shoes. They're great, but I spent so much time on CD that I love them. Worst shoes you've ever had, though, Jackson?
I had a pair of North Waves.
They were terrible.
That were super red.
terrible.
They were really comfortable, but they just were pretty ugly. Yeah. So it's not the brand; it's the shoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam.
I mean, are we doing clip-in? Because back when I did the strap thing, it was Asics, and they were terrible.
You had Asics.
Yeah, I did the hard bottom Asics that were just a nightmare.
Yeah,
but I think besides that look, I had some early on looks that were also bad.
Okay, Paul. Worst.
The worst. I just had it too.
Worst shoes.
Oh, Physique.
Physique.
I had
you
some
had
Physique.
I've heard shoes.
Yeah. I had the sizing was a little bizarre. There was obviously almost like two different sizes, and my right foot, that shoe never felt.
I've heard they're super specific.
Yeah.
I will say the Giro lace-up shoes are brilliant. Yeah. I don't want lace-up anymore. After I tried the BOA, I really like it. Now you can tune it in, and I can't stop it right before a sprint, even though, who am I kidding? But I can't tighten up the shoe. I just like to be able to reach down and tighten things up. The worst ones I've ever had are the Patricks. I bought the Bernardino Patrick blue shoes, and they were like fucking sneakers, man. They were so soft. They were so terrible. Gloves or no gloves, Jackson?
Gloves.
Sam?
No gloves unless you're racing.
Yeah, Paul?
Never.
Never.
Even racing. Yeah.
Never.
I saw you wear gloves in a crit one time.
Yeah, I do in a crit every once in a while.
Yeah. See, when you're worried about losing your palms.
Well, it depends on. If I'm not wearing gloves, I'm probably not going to be aggressive. If I have intention to be aggressive,
don't take it.
I'll be wearing gloves. Yeah. I will be
wheel.
taking chances.
Yeah, I'm gloves, but I'm usually not gloves. I spent so many years of my life not gloves, and now I'm like, it's kind of nice. Component group set. If you had the best you could ever pick, what would it be, Jackson? Brand?
Probably be Shimano Durace.
Would it?
Mm-hmm.
SRAM Ready Tab.
SRAM Red, Paul?
Probably SRAM, but I have a heart. I mean, my soft heart with Campy. I enjoyed Campy for years and years, but
the best of my life was riding Campy.
Yeah,
but I would probably go back to SRAM. Mm-hmm. I do like my Shimano kit, and you know what I like about Shimano is I just know it's going to be okay.
Oh, I love my Shimano. It's more of just like if I had endless amount of money to spend.
Yeah, exactly. Best flavor of drink supplement that you can enjoy. Best flavor, personal choice, Jackson.
Lemon lime scratch.
Lemon lime.
Always lemon lime anything.
Lemon lime. Paul.
Pineapple scratch.
Pineapple. Mm-hmm. Really? Okay. I'm more of a lemon lime. I think I'm going to go with lemon lime. Worst though. Paul.
Passion fruit.
Passion fruit. Sam. Guava. No, I had it this weekend and it was fucking terrible.
For me? Probably strawberry.
Really?
Too thick.
Okay, I'm going old school. Max. Paul, do you remember Max?
Yeah,
it was this, I think it was made by fucking Specialized or something like that. It was terrible. And if you got it on your bike, it would eat away the paint.
That's really, really
It's
bad for your innards.
And we're slamming it down
probably eating it
our
out.
esophagus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just drinking it like crazy. Last question, you guys. Best and worst song or artist to get stuck in your head while you're riding your bike. If you could think of one. I'll allow you a couple seconds. For example, my best song would be anything by Green Day. My worst song would be, holy shit, the mosquitoes are bad in here. I left the door open. My worst song would be Running Up That Hill, that goddamn song. Fucking
Running up that hill.
Kate Bush or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it came back because of fucking Stranger Things, and now I can't. It won't go away. And I hear it, and it won't go away. And I will just keep going. Running up that hill, running up that house, running up that car, running up that dog, running up that. I'm really tired. Running up that pitcher of beer. I just won't stop. Fucking hate that song. Those are my band and artists. Anybody got one?
Oh, whatever the Take Me Home.
By Phil Collins?
No.
Take me home.
Yeah.
Borky.
That
Scott Borky just texted, Max is the worst.
Max
Yeah.
is the worst. Yeah. Without a doubt.
We lost pain over that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that is like, man, that got stuck in my head this last weekend. I was like, shake it, shake it, shake it. Anything else?
Which song?
The
Running Up the Hill song?
No. Oh. What is that song called? Take Me Home.
Take me home,
No,
Country
Country
Road.
Road is
Yeah.
what
Was
it
it
is.
Country
By
Road? Okay.
by John Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It gets stuck in my head and it's just on loop.
To the place.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
belong.
belong. West Virginia.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Found your
on.
mama.
Man,
Yeah.
don't go to Germany yet.
I'm
All
telling
the
you.
festivals, that is like the only English song they know. it
God,
seems
really?
like.
It's-
Yeah,
I
they
don't-
play that all the
I
time,
think
and
it's
everybody sings along.
And it's like who was ever mixing that song back in the day just went, let's just crank a little more treble in it.
Yeah.
Just a little more treble.
mix that
He's
treble in.
not tinny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make it a little bit more fucking painful. Yeah, good
Yeah.
call.
I think that a good song would probably have to be. Oh God, I don't know. I'm a big fan of that "Win" song. It was on actually one of the.
All I do is win.
Nope. It's the
That's what I thought,
who is
too.
the Legends brother?
Ah.
The
not John
Nation's
Legends.
Beast. No. I'm talking. It's like
Oh, Nation's number one, please.
Yeah, that
Legion's
Instagram.
brother?
It's
Corey.
not-
Corey.
Corey.
Corey?
Yeah, it was on his is how I found it, but it was
Really?
something about like it was similar to that. All I do is win. It was
Okay.
like that's my anthem.
All right.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Paul and Jackson? Anybody want to jump into this? Paul's going to play like fucking Roxy music. It's like, more than this. Oh, I love that. Slave to love.
Let's see. I really like a rapper. His name is Jack Harlow. I really like Jack Harlow, and he has a lot of like good songs to like to ride to.
So you like it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so really any of his songs.
Bad song, though.
But a bad
That's a bad
song.
one.
I do work in a preschool, and there are a lot of songs.
Shark,
Oh.
Just any of those type of like, or like Sunday, Monday, like any of those like days of the week,
Yeah.
days of the week, like any of that stuff. You know, that's the worst.
Oh
So-
God.
Yeah,
You win.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Paul's,
I love it though.
Paul's actually looking for the song.
No, the worst was, and in fact, it was the first race I ever did was the TT, and it was I hate the sticks. I hate sticks when we
Yeah?
had it.
I'm sailing away.
And Come Sail Away was the song that was stuck in
Shit,
my
I
head.
picked the song?
Yes, you did.
I actually said it?
Yeah.
Wow. You know what
So-
Eric Cartman from South Park can't hear the beginning of that song without doing the whole thing.
Oh, really?
You look it up. It's fucking hilarious. And he just goes, on this course on Birds Eve, I've got to be free. And he just does the whole fucking thing as quickly as he can. Funny shit. But anyway, sorry.
I'm not a big fan of the guys, but it's just a commercial. But
Oh.
Prodigy.
So you just like, that's
Diesel
what's in your
power.
head?
That's what goes through your head.
Yeah.
Wow.
God,
Wow.
you are a
YouTube's
unique
gonna get that.
individual.
YouTube's going to flag us, but hey, YouTube, that was just seconds. A segment. Yeah, it was 30 seconds.
That's called Diesel Power.
From Prodigy.
Oh, that's a good one for you.
From Prodigy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
And it's angry enough to really short climbs. Mm-hmm. I understand that. I'm going to just start. I'm sailing away. Set a distant course.
Anything from that group just makes you want to regurgitate.
Next time you're on the front with
I've got to.
Do you like the smell of bile?
Free.
Because you're this
free
whole bar
to
is
face
going
the
to smell.
life. On board, I'm a captain. Sorry, I know the whole fucking thing.
Good.
My sister's first album she bought was Styx Paradise Theater, and she played it about 3 million times. That was Molly was really good at that.
Band.
She'd find a song and she'd just play it.
Especially when Tommy Shaw was the guitarist.
How about Tomi Arigato, Mr. Roboto? I mean, that wasn't fucking
dumb.
poetic genius. I mean, that was like 1984, written to a really bad. Anyway, it was terrible. You guys are too young to understand, and congratulations for that because you got through it. But I honestly think I would take Styx over most of the shit you kids listen to nowadays. That is a joke. That is a joke.
I disagree.
Jackson's. Oh, I thought you were standing up like that.
I thought I was gonna leave. Yeah,
I'm fucking out. No, I'm joking. I'm joking because there's a lot of good music out there. Hey everybody.
What? Yeah, like that.
Fuck, I hate that song. You guys, we need to talk about the Worlds, and we're out of time. But if you had to pick one name right now that's popping into your head for the Worlds right now, what would it be, male or female? One name, Jackson.
Tadej Pogacar.
I have to go to Tadej too.
Wout.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, suits him.
All right, Michael Matthews.
Oh, that's nice because it's in Australia.
In Australia, the pride is going to be there. The Caleb Ewan, they kept him out so they could just focus strictly on Michael. I'm telling you. We'll get into that further next week, but everybody, hey, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for logging in with us a little bit later than we normally do. Life is life, man, and there we go. So thanks, everybody. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of the show once again. And like, subscribe, tell a friend, and keep the rubber side down. I think that's what I need to say at the end of every show. Mm-hmm. There we go.